So we're into the top four now. So we are playing against an opponent we played against in the Swiss in round 6, who kindly scooped us in, and we win the die roll again. So we get to reveal our dude. We still don't know what they're on, but this hand has a Force of Will and a Swords to Plowshares and a Dreadhorde Arcanist. So I think this hand I'm incentivized to play out the Arcanist. And once again, this is just like every other time we do this. It's not because we have something exciting to do now, but it's because any cantrip off the top will mean that next turn we get to start going off. So here's where we find out that opponent is on a Bazaar deck. And they have a pretty standard Bazaar start. 9 power or so on turn 1. In fact, this seems slower than the average. I'm surprised there's not 2 Vengevines, 2 hollow ones. Not that I'm salty. So opponent, deploys a lot of power. We, however, get 2. So the Lavinia here was a really nice draw, because now we're going to get to go Lavinia first. And with Force to back up our Lavinia if we need to. And now we're going to Swords. And Swords again. And now out of the blue we have board dominance. And we've shut off a good solid. So they have 3 cards left in their deck that do anything. So we're getting in for damage here. So what did we see in their hand with that Gataxian Probe? So Hollow One, Noxious Revival, Force of Will. So we will... I guess at some point we do need to start paying attention to the Root Waller, but I don't think it's a big deal. We have the Swords when we need it. No, actually I guess we have to sit on the sword, don't we? Yeah, so I think from very shortly, we need to start taking a lot of care of that. And I think just to start attacking with Lavinia only, or if we can start drawing cantrips, we can attack with the Arcanist as well. So they've drawn a lot of Wastelands. And we really want to draw like a Mox, I guess. So we've got our own Wasteland. They probably have a second Bazaar by now. Except somehow they don't. Once again, we're pitching Dig Through time. I think soon we're going to start discarding, there we go, we're going to start discarding our 1-drops. And we can attack with our Dreadhorde Arcanist. So damage is starting to build up. I think one more attack, and so opponent, actually no, look, opponent still has outs. They just need enough Vengevines in the bin. What are they actually hitting? So they've been unlucky in that they've only hit their one Vengevine, or one that I'm aware of. So opponent's got a mental misstep on the top of their library. And we've got a land. And here we go, here's our final turn. And we're just going to cast our Time Walk now. And this will just, we'll do it now before we go to combat so opponent can just concede. And there we have it. So we managed to take game 1 against a Bazaar deck, which is a really big step in beating the matchup. So on to game 2. I think we're going to board the same way we did last time. We're boarding in Tormod's Crypt ×2, Wasteland, Surgical Extraction, Pithing Needle, 2 Tabernacles. We don't board in the endings just because they only hit the little, like the Root Wallers, and we can generally deal with those well enough. And I also don't like Shattering Sprees. We kind of have enough ways of dealing with hollow ones. So we're on the draw, and we're going to keep this. And this looks like a good time to okay, so opponent's gone ahead and forced our Lotus, which means we now get to Wasteland. And opponent has Force of Negation on top of their library. And they're going for a Noxious Revival, and we are going to Crypt in response. Now, unfortunately, they have a second Noxious Revival. I'm going to pop my graveyard back out. And they've now got a 1/1. So this is still looking fine. What we really need is to be able to resolve Lavinia. Once we have Lavinia, we can Third Path Iconoclast and Brainstorm. And I think at that point we should be looking pretty good. So Hollow One's fine. We can still deal with that. I think we should have held that Brainstorm, but never mind. So we will drop our Lavinia on the board here. So we lose to enough Vengevines, which is still a very real possibility. Opponent's got triple squee. So they're drawing a lot of cards, so they're now on 4 squeeze. So they're drawing a lot of cards every turn. This was also not the correct play. So this should have definitely been Third Path Iconoclast, Ruby, Preordain. However, and there we go. So I wonder if we should have taken the Tabernacle there. Anyway, so we've now got a Tabernacle floating on top. Did we just attack? Oof. That was a bad attack. We're very lucky we didn't get punished for it. Okay, and now I think we get to Tabernacle. And we definitely want Dreadhorde Arcanist here. So I know it looks a little bit weird to have Tabby plus Iconoclast, But realistically, from this point, the Iconoclast is protecting us from Vengevines. And the Tabby's just making sure nothing ever sticks. So we're going to pay for, I think, all of our triggers, or as close to it, as many as we can. We want to keep everything on the board. We will brainstorm. And so I think opponent's going to try and, yeah, so they're going to Vengevine us here to get rid of the Dreadhorde. And this is where that wasteland we kept off our brainstorm is going to be really nice. Because they now actually need to take action and the Vengevine's going to go away. They're down to a single Bazaar and it's just going to make it harder for them. And also eventually at some point they're going to deck themselves. So they're going to continue to attack in, we're going to continue to block. And at some point, we're going to need to find a way to get out of this. So I think we need to, okay, so we've drawn the wrong colors of mana. We're now in a position where I think we might actually just be dead. I guess another Tabernacle will get us there. Okay, and yeah, opponent has the read and has just managed to screw us. So, with their Noxious Revival. So we're going to go on to game 3. So this time we get the play. Get our dude. I'm going to start that game again so I can see the hand that we just mulliganed. I'm clicking through a little too quickly. Okay, so first hand, yeah, was just like a Swords to Plowshares hand. This hand's not keepable. And I think we are going to snap keep this hand and we're going to get rid of the Dreadhorde Arcanist and I think the Treasure Cruise so that we can keep Tabernacle Wasteland. And opponent's been really unfortunate here in that they've gone very low in their mulligan. They've even powdered. Okay, so they're down to 1 card. So we are just going to say what the card is. We can wait on the Preordain. And we have a Wasteland. And I think we bottom both of these. No, okay, I can see keeping the Scalding Tarn. So we're not worrying about the Root Waller for a while. Like, we have a lot of draws that'll get us out of this. Tabernacle here is probably a little aggressive, but at the same time, like, opponent needs to find Now they need to find Wasteland Bazaar. And in the meantime, are going to let us have free reign of just whatever we want to do. And I think we get to Surgical Bazaar of Baghdad. So admittedly, this should have been done in their draw step. And now they need to find exactly Wasteland. So we really should be putting a dude in their hand at this point, but never mind. Chalice on 0 is fine. Dreadhorde Arcanist is great. And Ancestral's even better. And apparently I forgot about the Chalice on 0 and took a Tormod's Crypt. I'm not sure it matters. Because I think this is actually just a very oppressive board state. Opponent got quite unlucky here, unfortunately. So Lavinia now comes down, meaning that we're protected from Fury. Now I'm going to do this in Overdraw. And I think I can probably... yeah, play out the Third Path Iconoclast this turn. I think I could have played the Iconoclast, but it doesn't matter too much. We're hedging very hard against a Vengevine draw here. No, I guess also Tabernacle. Yeah, Tabernacle's a bit rough on us, isn't it? So we're just leaving Surgical Extraction there. We have a specific target for it to hit, and that is Vengevines only. We've drawn a lot of Wastelands this game. And I mean, look, this isn't very exciting from here. It really is pretty academic. Icon Swords, I think close to every single remaining Vengevine in the first turn, and then they all die again, and any that remain die anyway. So I don't really see how my opponent can come back from it, but they're obviously keen to play it out, which is fine. And here we can... okay, so this is what we've been waiting for. We can now... go ahead and Surgical Vengevines. And then we can probably strip mine our own Tabernacle, and I think that's game over. So that's the end of top 4.